Though romance is not the primary focus of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the characters the show creates are so vivid that conversation tends to turn to possible relationships between them. To me, there are two pairings that never happened and would have made the show functionally better if they had. When I say the first one is Zuko and Katara, people tend to get where I'm coming from, even if they disagree. However, when I say the second one is Toph and Sokka, I tend to need to do a little more explaining. The show establishes that Toph has a crush on Sokka, even though she does not want to show it. When she believes he saved her from drowning in the Serpent's Pass episode, cheesy romantic music plays, and she tries to kiss him. However, she actually kisses Suki. This comes after Toph complains that Sokka did not thank her when she saved his life. True, this does not necessarily mean she has a crush on him, but considering the context provided by the later sequence, it is fair enough to assume that Toph reacted like she did, not just because Sokka was distinctly ungrateful to her, but also because she was kind of jealous of Sokka's relationship with Suki. Later, in Sokka's Master, Toph is the only one who pretends she did not care he was gone, and she turns away blushing. None of this necessarily means Toph wants to be in a relationship with Sokka, but Avatar has never been particularly subtle when it comes to romantic cues. See how blaringly obvious they made it that Aang has a crush on Katara, so it is best to try to not look for alternate interpretations. The obvious conclusion here is the correct one. Toph has a crush on Sokka, and he does not return that affection because he is too consumed by his desire to be in a relationship with Suki, and Toph has to swallow her feelings and move on. I wish the show had spent more time exploring the feelings of all those involved, but the broad outlines are clear enough. All of this is, I believe, rather uncontroversial and supported by the text. None of it, however, means that Sokka and Toph should necessarily be together. To get evidence for that, we need to go a bit deeper. The two are more similar than they realize. They both act significantly tougher than they really are. For Sokka, his overconfidence about his fighting skills is played for laughs throughout the show, especially in the first few episodes when his opinion of himself is at its highest. He has a very narrow and myopic view of what a warrior should be. Only when he grows toward adulthood does he realize that being a warrior is not just about fighting. Rather, it is a more comprehensive sampling of traits. His greatest advantages are his wit and his cleverness, and over time he grows to realize that. He was the one who orchestrated the brilliant plan to invade the Fire Nation, and his cleverness constantly saves Team Avatar from tricky situations. When he trains with Master Piandao in the episode Sokka's Master, he learns that being a warrior is an extension of someone's entire self, not just their muscles. Training his mind and his spirit allow him to be far more of a help to Toph during episode 307, The Runaway. Unlike Sokka, Toph actually has enough skills to support her arrogance and smugness, but that does not mean her arrogance and smugness are any less of a veneer. Like is the case with Sokka, her family situation has not been ideal. While Sokka's mother died, and his father was off fighting in the war, Toph's parents suffocated her, trying to thrust her into a box she refused to fit into. They denied her the opportunity to realize her true potential, not just as an earthbender, but also just as a human being. I don't mean to imply that these are the only two characters of our main cast who have suffered loss and trauma. Aang's entire culture was wiped out by the Fire Nation. Katara is more visibly devastated by their mother's death than Sokka is, and Zuko's mother left while his father burned away half his face. However, while Aang never ruminates on the loss of his people outside a few select episodes, and Katara and Zuko confront their trauma head first, Sokka and Toph are more influenced by their experiences than they are willing to admit. Katara calls Toph out for this in The Runaway, and Toph responds by getting into a fight with her. It's Sokka who has to convince Toph to forgive Katara and try to understand her. In true Sokka style, he does this only after his incredibly silly plan to make it look like Katara wants to apologize to Toph and Toph wants to apologize to Katara after that plan fails, but when he finally does commit himself to helping Toph, he does quite a good job. He discusses how Katara kept their family together after their mother died, and how when he thinks of their mother's face, he now only thinks of Katara's. It's a heartbreaking admission and easily the highlight of the episode, but in the context of this video, I am mostly going to examine what it means for the relationship between Sokka and Toph. He understands what she is going through and sees through her tough girl pose, but he does not condescend to her. Instead, he is gentle and compassionate, trying to evoke sympathy for Katara. Both Toph and Sokka care very deeply for Katara, though neither of them wants to show it. Sokka does not want to admit this to Katara, and Toph does not even want to admit this to herself. Toph's form of communication, which relies upon a surface layer of callousness, disguising a deeper sense of understanding and empathy, is not something Katara particularly understands. It's just not how she conducts herself. However, it is something Sokka understands very well. They both undercut sincerity with jokes so they don't have to deal with it. But here, they are at their most unguarded. They truly understand each other, and I would love to see them in a romantic relationship. I do believe it would last. Sokka's relationship with Suki, however, inspires considerably less enthusiasm. It's not that I hate Suki, not at all. Rather, it's that I am indifferent to her. Who is she, other than Sokka's warrior girlfriend? She's a badass lady with few failings or flaws. Some people, I will admit, find that rather exciting and inspirational, but I just find it dull. The creators brought her back into the main group due to fan demand, then had no idea what to do with her. It was an awkward conundrum that the show, as good and smart as it is, never really figured out. Even though she spends the entire back half of Season 3 with Team Avatar, I end the series knowing less about her than I did at the end of the first episode in which she appeared. Could the relationship between them work long term? Maybe, but I just see no reason to be invested in it. There's no moment that grabs me nearly as profoundly as the intimate moment Sokka and Toph share in The Runaway. So thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can, and you want to see more videos like this. Keep watching Avatar. It is a brilliant show that is really smart, really philosophical, and really compassionate. It's nearly unparalleled in the depth of feeling it evokes for its characters, and it's easier to watch than ever thanks to Netflix, so go watch it. Anyway, tune in soon for my next analysis. It will be coming soon. Thank you all again. Adios, comrades.